Welcome to Inorganic Chemistry class, chapter D and F block elements. In the previous class, we were discussing about the physical properties of transition elements. Now, we have come to the last topic under the heading D block elements. That is about the applications of transition metals. Where exactly we use these transition metals, about which we'll study now. Iron and steel are the most important construction materials. We might have seen if there is any construction is going on, iron and steel will be the most important construction materials. And definitely here, the iron is a transition metal and steel is the alloy which is made of using iron with the other transition elements. So here, iron and steel are the most important construction materials used. Titanium monoxide is used in pigment industry. Pigments are the coloring matters. They are responsible for particular coloration. So in those pigment industries, titanium monoxide is used. Zinc, nickel and cadmium are used in battery industry. Here in the battery industry, in order to manufacture electrodes of zinc, nickel and cadmium, they are going to use these elements in the battery industries. Copper, gold and silver, so they are used in making of coins and ornaments. I think with this you are very much familiar. Iron is used as catalyst in Haber's process for the manufacturing of ammonia. So in the previous year you have studied about the reaction between dinitrogen and dihydrogen, which leads to the formation of ammonia. The process is called as Haber's process. In that process, iron is used as catalyst. Silver bromide is known to be photosensitive, or it is found to be light sensitive in nature. That property of silver bromide is widely used in photographic industry. So these are some of the applications of transition metals. Let's pass on to the next topic. Next topic is F block elements. They are also known as inner transition elements. Why they are known as inner transition elements? Because they provide a transition in the 6th and 7th period of the periodic table, which separates the S block and D block elements. Hence, F block elements, they are called as inner transition elements. Elements in which the last electron enters into F suborbital or F subshells are called as F block elements. F block elements, they are also known as inner transition elements that I have explained just a few minutes ago. There are two series of inner transition elements. They are called as lanthanoids and actinoids. They are also called as lanthanide series of elements and actinide series of elements. Here you can see lanthanide series starts from cerium, ends with the lutetium. Actinide series, it starts from thorium to ends with the lawrencium. So here these are the two series of inner transition elements. They are called as lanthanoids and actinoids. Let's take up the first topic, lanthanoids. What are lanthanoids? The 14 elements starting from cerium ends with lutetium are collectively called as lanthanoids because they closely resemble lanthanum. So their physical and chemical properties, they closely resemble lanthanum. Hence they are called as lanthanoids. So here you can see cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, promethium, samarium, europium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, holmium, erbium, thulium, ytterbium and lutetium. Okay, these are the 14 elements of lanthanide series. All these elements are represented by the symbol Ln. So all these elements are collectively represented by the symbol Ln. Ln is the symbol used for lanthanides. The lanthanides resemble one another very closely. So all these 14 elements, not only they resemble lanthanum in their properties, but also they resemble one another very closely. Electronic configuration of lanthanides. What is the electronic configuration? It is the arrangement of electrons in the various shells of an atom. Okay, it is called as electronic configuration. Here, according to quantum mechanics, the filling of 4f orbital starts from cerium because cerium is the first element. Here, why I have included lanthanum? In your syllabus, the lanthanide series, it starts from cerium. Okay, but now earlier both lanthanum and actinium, they were in the D block, but now they have been removed. Lanthanum has been added to lanthanides, and actinium has been added to the actinide series. So that is why I have added lanthanum here. The filling of 4f orbital actually starts from cerium, okay, and from cerium it keeps on getting filled. That means 4f orbital, it is progressively filled from cerium up to ytterbium, it is progressively filled. When we reach ytterbium is the element which is having completely filled 4f orbital, and even lutetium has also got completely filled 4f orbital. What is the general electronic configuration for lanthanide? So far, so you are aware of the general electronic configuration for D block elements, right? So similarly, even for the lanthanides also we have general electronic configuration, which can be written as xenon core 4f1 to 14, 5d0 to 1, 6s2 is the general electronic configuration for lanthanides. This is important for 1 mark. So here is the table showing the lanthanide series of elements with their respective atomic symbol and electronic configuration. So here you can see the electronic configuration of cerium. See here, the filling of 4f orbital starts from cerium, right? Then there is a shift of electrons from 4f orbital to the 5d orbital. Here the electronic configuration of cerium is xenon core 4f1 5d1 6s2. Why 5d orbital has got one electron? Because the energy difference with respect to 4f and 5d is very small. They are almost of same energy level, or you can say they are of comparable energy, because of which one electron will be shifted from 4f orbital to the 5d orbital. Similarly, in case of gadolinium also, you can see one electron has been shifted from 4f orbital to the 5d orbital. Here, what is the reason means? The reason is very simple. When gadolinium has a 8 electrons in its 4f orbital, one electron will be shifted to the 5d orbital. It is because to attain stability, because you know that any f orbital we can accommodate only 14 electrons. So here 4f7 means it has half of its capacity, or you can say by having 7 electron in 4f orbital, gadolinium is going to attain stability. So because the elements having the empty, half-filled and completely filled 4f orbitals, they are considered to be stable. So that is why in order to acquire stability, gadolinium, okay, in that case, one electron will be shifted from 4f orbital to the 5d orbital in order to have electronic configuration as xenon core 4f7 5d1 6s2. Whereas in case of lutetium, since 4f orbital is completely filled, one electron will be shifted to the 5d orbital. Next slide is about atomic and ionic radii of lanthanides. This is very important and interesting as well. A unique feature of lanthanides is the decrease in atomic and ionic radii from lanthanum to lutetium. See, when we want to study about the actinides and lanthanides and about the D block elements, please have a periodic chart with you. So then only you can understand the concepts very well. See here, when we move from lanthanum to lutetium or from cerium to lutetium, what do we observe? There is a gradual decrease in the atomic radii, which is the unique feature possessed by the lanthanide series of elements. So this gradual and steady decrease in the atomic size of lanthanides across the series with the increase in atomic number is called lanthanide contraction. Earlier we have discussed about this lanthanide contraction when we discussed about the D block elements, where the second and third transition series elements, they are found to be having similar atomic and ionic radii, which is due to lanthanide contraction. See, when we move from left to right in the lanthanide series, so there is a gradual and steady decrease in atomic size of lanthanides across the series. So with increase in atomic number. So as the atomic number increases, here we will see the gradual and steady decrease in atomic size. So this is known as lanthanide contraction. Here, the difference in radii, that is atomic radii, between two successive elements is not large. That means if you take any two successive elements, for example, if you take the cerium and praseodymium, or if you take neodymium and promethium, so like that, if you take any two consecutive elements of lanthanide series, and if you compare their atomic radii, we do not see much large difference between those two elements. So here the difference with respect to atomic radii will be very small, but the overall or cumulative effect over the 14 elements is nearly 14 picometer with respect to atomic radii and 20 picometer with respect to the ionic radii of tri-positive ions, because all the lanthanides they commonly show +3 oxidation state, and here the cumulative effect over the 14 elements with respect to atomic radii is found to be 14 picometer, and with respect to ionic radii it is about 20 picometer. It is the cumulative difference with respect to atomic and ionic radii of lanthanide series of elements. What is the cause of lanthanide contraction? Now we shall see. From cerium to lutetium, as we move from left to right, so what is the one thing that you can notice? Atomic number increases. What is atomic number? It is the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom. So in any element, if the proton, if, in any atom of an element, the number of protons, if they are increasing, means what? The number of electrons will also increase. Here, in case of lanthanides, 4f orbital is progressively filled. So these electrons are to be added in the 4f orbitals, which have got poor shielding effect. So in the previous classes, we have studied about the shielding power, right? So here 4f orbital have got poor shielding effect, in the sense means what? The electrons present in the 4f orbital, they cannot overcome the force of attraction exerted by the nucleus. So as a result of this, it shields the growing nuclear charge imperfectly. As a result, what? As a result of this, effective nuclear charge increases. That means the force of attraction exerted by the nucleus on the electrons present in the 4f orbital increases. So all these electrons will be pulled towards the nucleus, as a result of which atomic radius decreases. So this is the cause for the lanthanide contraction. Then what are the consequences? What happens, okay, when we witness lanthanide contraction? Here there are two consequences are there. So let's start with the first one. Atomic radii of second and third transition series elements are almost identical due to lanthanide contraction. So there will be one more question on this. Give reason atomic radii of second and third transition series elements are almost identical. The reason is very simple. It is due to lanthanide contraction. For example, let's take the example of hafnium and zirconium. So those are the elements of D block. Here, the atomic radius of zirconium is 160 picometer, and that of hafnium is 159 picometer. As a result of this, they occur together in the nature, and their separation becomes very difficult from their mixture. Here, the difference between these two elements with respect to the atomic radius is only 1 picometer. Hafnium is having 159 picometer as its atomic radius, and zirconium has 160 picometer. The difference is only 1 picometer. So as a result of this, they occur together in nature, and separation of these elements from their mixture is very difficult. This is the first consequence of lanthanide contraction. The small difference in atomic and ionic radii of lanthanides is responsible for difference in their basic properties. So though there is a difference between these two elements just by 1 picometer, even such small difference is responsible for difference in their basic properties, and this difference is utilized in separation of these elements from the mixture of lanthanides, either by solvent extraction method or by ion exchange method. This is about the consequences of lanthanide contraction, important for 2 marks. Sometimes they may ask you to write the definition of lanthanide contraction and give one of the consequences. Like that, you may get question for 2. Next topic is oxidation states and valencies. Here, lanthanides, all the lanthanide elements, all the 14 elements in the lanthanide series, they commonly show +3 oxidation state. The common oxidation state of lanthanides is +3 oxidation state. However, some of the lanthanides, they are capable of showing +2 and +4 oxidation state, either in solution or in solid compound states. Solid state, you can see. Here, then why this regularity arises? When they can show common oxidation state as +3, why only for some of them they are capable of showing +2 and +4 oxidation state? This irregularity arises mainly due to the attainment of stable empty 4f orbital, a half-filled 4f orbital, and a completely filled 4f subshell. See, when these elements are going to have +2 and +4 oxidation state, either they are going to have half-filled 4f orbital or empty 4f orbital, or they are going to have completely filled 4f orbital electronic configuration. So here some of the examples are there. Cerium, when it becomes cerium 4 plus, it is going to have empty 4f orbital, thereby it is going to attain stability. Because always remember, if any lanthanide series of elements, if it is going to have empty or half filled or completely filled 4f orbital, it is going to be stable. So that is why in order to acquire stability, cerium loses 4 of its valence electrons in order to attain stability by having a empty 4f orbital. Similarly, terbium in its +4 oxidation state, it is going to be stable because of having a half-filled 4f orbital. You know that in any f orbital, maximum we can accommodate 14 electrons. But here it has got 4f7, which is half of its capacity. So because of this, terbium in its +4 oxidation state, it is going to attain stability. Similarly, europium in its +2 oxidation state, it is found to be stable because of having a half-filled 4f orbital. And lastly, ytterbium in its +4 oxidation state, it is going to be very stable because of having completely filled 4f orbital. So cerium further, it exhibits +4 oxidation state because not only it is going to have empty 4f orbital, but also thereby it is going to gain noble gas electronic configuration. That is why it is very stable, and it is also known to be a very good oxidizing agent. So here cerium +4 and terbium +4, they are known to be very good oxidizing agents, whereas europium in its +2 oxidation state and ytterbium in its +4 oxidation state, they are considered to be very good reducing agents. Praseodymium, neodymium, terbium, and dysprosium also exhibit +4 oxidation state, but only when they form oxides having the general formula MO2, where M refers to any of these 4 lanthanide series elements. Formation of europium 2 plus is explained due to the attainment of stable half-filled electronic configuration, and it is a very good reducing agent. Already I have explained this. Here europium, it is going to attain stability by losing 2 of its outermost electrons in order to acquire +2 oxidation state. So thereby it is going to have stable half-filled 4f electronic configuration in order to acquire stability, and it is known to be a very good reducing agent. Similarly, ytterbium in its +2 oxidation state, it is going to have stable electronic configuration of 4f14, and it is known to be a very good reducing agent. Terbium in its +4 oxidation state, it is going to have filled 4f orbital, and it is an oxidizing agent. Lastly, samarium, it exhibits both +2 and +3 oxidation states. Okay, this is about the oxidation states of lanthanides. Uses of lanthanides. Lanthanides are widely used for producing alloy steels, which are used in the manufacturing of plates and pipes. That is the first use. For example, mesh metal is made up of 95% lanthanides and about 5% iron also it contains. Along with these two, it also contains the traces, that means very small amounts of sulfur, carbon, calcium and aluminium. Then where do we use this mish metal? Mish metal is used in magnesium based alloys to produce bullets, shells and lighter flints. So here mish metal, when it is mixed with the magnesium, it is going to form an alloy which is very hard. That is why it is used in making of the bullets which are used in the guns, shells and also lighter flints. That means the cigar lights which are used for smoking. So there also you can see the use of mish metal. Mixed oxides of lanthanides are used as catalyst in petroleum cracking. So you have in your lower classes we have studied about the cracking of petroleum, which yields as petrol, diesel, kerosene, paraffin, waxes, etc., and even petrochemicals also. So during the cracking of petroleum, mixed oxides of lanthanides they are used as catalysts. Lastly, some lanthanide oxides are used as phosphors in television screens and in similar fluorescing surfaces. Here what are phosphors means? So these are the materials used to coat the screen of cathode ray tube. Cathode ray tube, it is generally used in the televisions. To coat the cathode ray tube screen, they are going to use some lanthanide oxides. This is about the use of lanthanides. Next, the topic is actinoids. That is the second series of F block elements. The 14 elements from thorium to lawrencium are known as actinoids. So here you can see. So it starts from thorium, followed by protactinium, uranium, neptunium, plutonium, americium, then curium, berkelium, californium, einsteinium, fermium, mendelevium, nobelium, and lawrencium. Okay, these are the 14 elements present in the actinide series. The actinides are radioactive elements. See here, in case of lanthanides, promethium is the only element which is radioactive in nature, whereas in case of actinides, all the 14 elements they are radioactive in nature. The earlier members have relatively longer half-lives, whereas the latter ones have shorter half-lives. That too, when it comes to lawrencium, its half-life period is only 3 minutes. What is this half-life period? You have studied when you were in first year. It is the time required by a radioactive element to get reduced to half of its initial amount. It is called as half-life period. Here, the early members of actinide series, that means the first few elements of actinide series, they have relatively longer half-lives, whereas the latter ones, that means the elements which comes at the end, they have got relatively shorter half-life periods. Lawrencium has only 3 minutes as its half-life period. Then what is the general electronic configuration of actinide series elements? The general electronic configuration of actinide series is given by radon core 5F1 to 14, 6D0 to 1, 7S2. So this is important for 1 mark. They may ask you. So write the general electronic configuration for actinides. So then you have to write radon core 5F1 to 14, 6D0 to 1, 7S2. So this is the general electronic configuration of actinides. Next important topic is atomic and ionic radii. Atomic and ionic radii of actinides is slightly larger than those of lanthanides. When we compare the atomic sizes of actinides and the lanthanides, here these actinides elements are going to have not largely, slightly larger atomic sizes than the lanthanides. Actinide contraction. So you are familiar with the lanthanide contraction with respect to the lanthanides. Here with respect to actinides, you will study about the actinide contraction. What is this? Just like your lanthanide series of elements, here With respect to actinide series also, when we move from thorium to lawrencium, here also we observe the steady and gradual decrease in atomic and ionic sizes of these series of elements with increase in atomic number, which is called as actinoid contraction. So there is a gradual decrease in atomic and ionic sizes across the series, which is called actinoid contraction. Actinide contraction from one element to the other element is greater than those of lanthanides due to poor shielding by phi f electrons from nuclear charge. Here, when we consider the actinide contraction from one element to the other element, when it is compared with the lanthanide contractions from one element to the other element in the lanthanide series, here actinide contraction is found to be greater than those of lanthanide contraction, which is due to the poor shielding effect by the electrons present in the phi f orbitals against the growing nuclear charge. Here both 4f electrons of lanthanide series and 5f electrons of lanthanide series, both of them they have got poor shielding effect, but 5f orbital electrons they have got the much poorer shielding effect than the 4f electron. So that is why here actinide contraction from element to element is found to be greater than the lanthanide contraction, which is due to the poor shielding effect offered by the electrons present in the 5f orbital against the growing nuclear charge. Or you can say here the 5f electrons they cannot overcome the force of attraction exerted by the nucleus. Actinides show large number of oxidation states than lanthanides. Why? This is very important question. In actinoids, 5f, 6d and 7s orbitals are of comparable energies. What I mean to say here, the energy gap or energy difference between among these orbitals is found to be very small. They are almost all of them they are going to have the same energy levels. So because of which, so more number of electrons are available for the bond formation, either to lose or to share. Hence, electrons from these orbitals are available to lose or share. They are going to have larger number of oxidation states. The reason is very simple. In actinides, 5f, 6d and 7s orbitals are of comparable energies. That means all these orbitals they are going to have more or less same energies. Hence, electrons from these orbitals are available either to lose or to share in order to form the bonds. That is why actinides, when they are compared with the lanthanides, they are going to have larger number of oxidation states. What is the common oxidation state of actinide series of elements? So already you know the common oxidation state of lanthanides is +3. Even for the actinide series of elements also the common oxidation state is +3. That means all the elements present in actinide series they show +3 oxidation state in common. In addition to that, actinides can show variable oxidation state as +3, +4, +5, +6 and +7. Why? Why? Because 5s, 6d and 7s orbitals they are of comparable energies. That is why so they can increase their oxidation number. What are the properties of actinides? Means they do not react with nitric acid, which is due to the formation of an oxide layer on their surface, which is due to their interaction with the oxygen. So as soon as they react with oxygen, there is a formation of oxide layer on their surface, which do not allow them to react with nitric acid. This is about the properties of actinides. Magnetic properties. When we discussed about the transition elements, so we have learnt many things about the magnetic properties and also about the paramagnetism and diamagnetism you have studied. Here, all the actinides and their compounds, all the actinides and the compounds formed by the actinides, they are found to be paramagnetic in nature, except those which are having either empty or completely filled 5f orbital. So, except those which are having either empty 5f orbital or completely filled 5f orbital. So rest of the actinides and their compounds, they are paramagnetic in nature. In the previous classes, so you have studied about the magnetic properties. There you have learnt why paramagnetism arises. Paramagnetism arises only due to the presence of unpaired electrons in 5f subshell. See here, if there is any presence of even one unpaired electron also in 5f orbital, that leads to paramagnetism. The last topic of D and F block elements is ionization enthalpy. Ionization enthalpy is the amount of energy required to remove electron from the outermost shell of a neutral isolated gaseous atom. That is the definition of ionization enthalpy. In the previous class also we have discussed. Here, ionization enthalpy of early actinides are lower than the early lanthanides because of 5f electrons are far less penetrated into the inner core of electron. That means 5f electrons, they do not enter into the inner core electrons. They are far away from the nucleus. So because of which the ionization enthalpy of early actinides are low. That means it is easy to remove the electrons from the outermost shell of early actinide. That means the first few members of the actinide series, when they are compared with the lanthanides, they are going to have sufficiently lower or smaller ionization enthalpy values, which is due to the fact that 5f electrons are far less penetrated into the inner core of electrons. The 5f electrons are less effectively shielded from the nuclear charge than the 4f electrons of lanthanides. So what I mean to say, here the poor shielding effect of 5f electrons are much poorer than the 4f electrons of lanthanides. Thus 5f electrons are less firmly held and are available for bond formation. Okay, so this statement says that 5f electrons have got much poorer shielding effect than the 4f electrons of lanthanides, because of which more number of electrons are available for the bond formation, so that they can increase their oxidation number as well as the valency. Okay, this is about the ionization enthalpy of actinides. Thank you.